Hello, Mustang football fans, and welcome to another edition of the Cory Sauter Show here at Studio One, Marshall Local Cable Access, and online at smsumustangs.com. We're glad you could join us again this week. I'm Kelly Loft, Athletic Communications Director and host of the show, and as we'll talk Mustang football again this week with the head coach Cory Sauter, as the Mustangs coming off an opening week loss to St. Cloud State University. We'll talk about the game, take a look at the highlights, and then preview this upcoming week's game at MSU Moorhead. And joining us is the head coach Cory Sauter, as the Mustangs, as I mentioned, coming off a 49-35 loss to St. Cloud State at the Schwann Regional Events Center. A hot Saturday night, but it was an exciting night for football, Cory, and lots of things to talk about in this one. We'll have some great highlights here later on in the show, but disappointed in the loss, obviously. The Mustangs tied at halftime, but a lot of things to discuss, which we will here during the show, but overall a pretty good effort by your squad on both sides of the football and on special teams as well.
Well, I told the guys after the game that effort wasn't an issue at all. I mean, the kids really played their hearts out. There's a lot of cramping that was going on over the course of the ball game just because of the temperature of the game and the humidity and everything. But effort, guys were flying around. We had some young guys running out there, true freshmen, and I think that part of things was really good. Execution wasn't, tackling wasn't where it needed to be. But for a first ball game against a very quality opponent, I thought we made some nice strides in a lot of areas, and as a group and individually. So there were some question marks going into the ball game, and hopefully we were able to answer. At our running back spot and quarterback spot, and the defensive back spot. So just all in all, I think it was just a good game for us, and it was great support too. I mean, it was home opener, Ag Bowl, you name it. It was just a great environment for our kids to be in.
Yeah, of course. And the Mustangs, one thing that stood out for me, Coach, and a lot of fans, obviously, as you talked about, the Huskies, a very well coached team and a very good team. They've been to the playoffs 2 of the last 3 years, and they come out and score 2 touchdowns on their first 2 drives. And you're kind of thinking, oh boy, these guys are the real deal. They got one of the best players in the conference at quarterback and clap hockey. But just the way you guys battled back, got a touchdown, went down 21-7, had to punt on your next possession, but the defense gets a stop, and then back-to-back offensive touchdowns for the Mustangs. And next thing you know, they're tied, and the momentum's back on our side.
Right. Well, we definitely had a very slow start on offense. We had quite a few penalties that really put us in some long yardage situations, got us out of rhythm, and we really did not want to start the ball game that way, especially against St. Cloud. They're potent offense. We do not want to give them very many opportunities to be on the field, and we had a couple short possessions and made it pretty difficult for ourselves, especially early in the ball game. Guys finally kind of got their groove and were able to put that first touchdown on the board. I think that's the hardest thing, is just getting that first touchdown done of the season, and then after that point we were able to really get into rhythm, really get into a groove, and guys were starting to make plays. We didn't make any poor decisions or poor penalties, things of that nature, and then we were able to actually tie it and actually get some momentum going into the second half. But you got to give St. Cloud a lot of credit. They've got some talented kids, a lot of spots, from running back to quarterback to all of their receivers. Their defense really played extremely hard. I mean, every single time we're handing the ball off, every single time we're dropping back to pass, I mean, they'll definitely let you know that they're around you, and they definitely play hard. So you got to give them credit.
Of course, the Mustang offense, a couple of new wrinkles into that, a very up-tempo style of play, and obviously the Mustangs able to accomplish that, putting up 35 points, and you're running over 90 plays, which is an exceptional amount. It's the highest that I have found, looking back on some of the records since the early 1990s. It's probably one of the top 2 or 3 most offensive plays in one particular game, and I think running the offense was the quarterback Charlie Kern, and his first career start did very well. Kind of assess his play over that first game.
Well, as we talked over the last month or so, we kind of always get back to that quarterback position. How is Charlie going to play? What is he going to bring to the table? Inside our organization, we knew what he's capable of doing, because he'd been doing it day in and day out in practice. But going from game to, or from practice to a game sometimes isn't the easiest transition, but with Charlie, it was actually a pretty easy one. He was prepared, he did what we were asking him to do, and then on top of that, he made plays when things weren't there, and the good ones do that, because I can guarantee you there's a lot of those plays that weren't drawn up the way they ended up, and it was a big part of him and his ability to run, his ability to create a little bit of extra time. So he definitely brings in another element to our offense, and we're very, very pleased with what he'll be able to do this season.
Well, Curran finished the night 36 of 55 passing for 307 yards and 2 touchdowns. Also using his legs, had 54 yards rushing and a touchdown on 17 attempts to help lead the Mustangs. Running back Tyler Tondrum, his first career start, coach. He gets 2 touchdowns, 83 yards rushing, career highs for him, and boy, he looked good and had a long touchdown called back that you add on another 40 or 50 yards to his total, and it's a very good night for Tyler.
Right. Well, a questionable call, but he definitely had a very productive night. The nice thing is, he protected the football. He was able to run our offense and really hit holes with authority. And you'll see on some of the clips where he's able to move the pile. He caught a ball on a screen and was able to kind of carry 2-3 guys to midfield. He broke some tackles on one of his touchdown runs. So that's just good to see that from him. He's been around. He's been in our system for a long time now. It's not like he hasn't been on the field. It's just been more of a special teams capacity. And Tyler will do very, very well in this system. And he's a kid that understands what we're expecting, and he works hard at it. And that's what it's going to take for us to be successful.
Well, same results, different quarterback, and what I mean by that is spreading the ball around. That was kind of the thing that Tyler Pashon could do, was throw the ball to different receivers. And again, on Saturday night, a lot of different guys caught passes. Cody Condon, career high 8 catches, 75 yards. Tyler Tondrum had 6 catches, 46, and Will Kirker with the 4 catches, his first career touchdown. And you really see our tight ends. You're very happy with them, but they're 2 of the best in the conference, and both could start for a lot of different teams.
Absolutely. I mean, we're very, very fortunate to have both of those guys on our team, and a lot of teams would love just to have one of those 2 guys, and to have both of them, and when you're running 94 plays, one guy can't run 94 plays. So it's important for us to have 2 guys that both are starters, that both can play. Doesn't matter which guy goes in, they're both going to be very productive for us. And we're very happy for Will. Under the circumstances, he was able to really be focused and play a really, really good ball game, and he was able to capitalize and get a touchdown too, and that was nice to see for him.
Yeah, Will's dealing with some personal stuff, and great to see him come out there and play well, and he's done that throughout his entire career here at Southwest. On the defensive side of the football, the Mustangs put the Huskies into several 3rd and long situations. St. Cloud finished the game 2 of 9 on 3rd down conversions, and defense made some plays as well. You got an interception, A.J. Page with a couple of sacks, and all in all, a pretty good effort and forced St. Cloud to punt 5 times, and you take that before the game, getting a pick and a couple of sacks, and the defense, you can see the improvement, and it showed on Saturday.
Right. Well, we were able to get off the field on 3rd downs. It was just sometimes on 1st and 2nd
Correct,
down,
yeah.
we struggled a little bit, getting them back in, and then just some of the big plays. We had a couple, short drives for them, and part of it was field position, but part of it was they made a great play, made a great throw and catch, and you got to give them credit. But all in all, our biggest thing on defense is going to be just our ability to tackle. We missed a good amount of tackles, probably twice as many as you normally should have, and so that'll be our biggest point of emphasis going from week 1 to week 2 and week 2 to week 3. Is you're going to see hopefully a better product when it comes to tackling, and we're expecting that this week against Moorhead State.
Well, of course, the Mustangs dropping to St. Cloud State on a Saturday night, but talk about the game, Coach. We mentioned halftime and get tied up. They get a big play to begin the 3rd quarter on a long pass. They get a touchdown, then get a stop on the Mustangs, a partially blocked punt. They get another short field, and that just shows, we've talked about this so many times throughout the years, just how important each little things can be. And whatever momentum St. Cloud had, they took advantage of it right away on the long pass and block punts, and it just shows how important every phase of the game is to win a football game.
Yep, every rep matters, and you don't ever know when that big play is going to happen. And the good teams are the ones that play every single play, every single series, and they understand that you just don't know. You just never know when that big play is going to happen. And you'll see in one of our clips too, we had a fumble, and we had a guy hustling for the football, and we ended up recovering it. And it's just all those little things put together. That's what makes the game of football so fun to watch. There's just so many variables. So many things can happen. A guy can miss a block. A guy can, a major penalty. There's so many variables that, there's a lot that goes into coordinating all that and managing the emotions that go with that. After a big play or for you or against you, you've got to be able to recover and get ready for that next play or next series. And so that was just something that I felt we were able to just kind of ride it out and make sure that we never threw the towel in. We played all the way to the end. Even despite the score, we were in a position to really almost tie the ball game towards the end of the ball game. And so that was just good to see that just mentally we were on top of things. We weren't discouraged by any of the big plays that they had, because they had their share of big plays, but guys just hung in there and really stuck together.
Well, speaking of sticking in there, obviously a very hot fall camp for the Mustangs. You had to move practices to the morning, and it was a very warm Saturday night, and it's just a battle when you have that many plays on offense and in defense as well, and obviously a couple of guys had to leave maybe from cramps and whatnot, but overall it's still early in the week, but injury-wise, hopefully, knock on wood, not too many guys are dinged up and we're ready to go for Moorhead.
Yeah, I don't know if we'll have any major injuries. I know there's a lot of guys that were in on Sunday, to get treatments and get ice and get all the things that they need to get their bodies recovered. But hopefully, middle of this week, we'll have some good news on certain guys and make sure that we've got all of our guys back for our Moorhead game.
Yeah, again, the Mustangs fall to St. Cloud State this past Saturday in the home opener. We've talked about some of the game. Now let's take a look at the highlights from the Schwann Regional Event Center. Start off, Coach. Mustang defense gets a sack right away. A.J. Page, one of his 2 sacks.
Yeah, A.J. Page here is playing the right defensive end spot. He beats the block of the running back, and it's a great way to start his season. And we're expecting a lot of big things from A.J. He's got a lot of ability, and we should have a big season from him.
And the Mustangs, again, a couple of sacks in the game. And Mustangs now back on offense at a big third down conversion. Curran finding Jordan Cross.
Yep, hitting a quick out here to the left versus press coverage. Charlie sticks it right on him. Nice thing is we spin off and actually fight and get the first down. You need to stay on the field in order to score points.
Great to see Mike Wenk back. Missed last year because of an injury. Here's his second punt. It goes 50-plus yards.
Yeah, you don't want too many highlights to be punts, but this is definitely a nice one. Anytime you get the ball inside the 10-yard line, he actually gets down to about the 6-yard line here. But it's great having Mike back, and he's a great asset for this football program.
He got knocked down a couple of times, but could not able to draw any flags. Back on offense, Charlie Curran shows his ability to run and picks up 13 yards.
Yeah, he definitely has the ability to do both. He can throw the football, he can read, he can run. Just a great overall athlete. He was a multi-sport athlete in high school.
Curran finding his top receiver on the night. That was Cody Condon, 8 catches, 75 yards, and number 16 with one right here.
Yeah, we've got a play-action pass here, and you can see it's a tight window. Looking from the end zone copy. We get a quick play action. He sticks it in between 2 defenders. Great catch and great completion there.
Tyler Tondem, again, first career start at running back, blows ahead here for a 14-yard run.
Right. We run a lot of spread formation, but here's a heavier formation. We end up running a power play with our guard pulling, end up getting a nice big chunky yardage on that one.
And the Mustangs get a pass completion here, and then the ball pops out, but the Mustangs able to recover it.
Yeah, and this is what I was talking about. Again, nice throw. Cody has a great ability to catch balls in tight holes. The ball comes out, but you can see we're there, we're hustling, we're making sure we're completing every single play.
Mustangs down 14-0, but get on the board for the first time in 2013. Kern up the middle with the run.
Yep, and here's another example of just more of an option play. Had the ability to throw it, run it, you name it, and Kern is able to make a great read and finish with a nice run.
St. Cloud scores and goes up 21-7, then forces the Mustang to punt, and they have a chance to add to the lead, but a big interception. Andrew McReynolds, a second career INT.
All right, we're playing cover 2, so 2 deep safeties, and in the corner, McReynolds is just playing off because there's really nobody in his zone, so he's just going to read the quarterback's eyes. And you can see here we actually get some pressure on the quarterback to force him to make a throw that he doesn't want to make, and he's right there to make the play. And that's great to see that we're able to actually make the actual interception.
On the ensuing drive, the Mustangs answer back. Kern finds Anthony Dean.
Yep, we got a fade route in the back pylon area. And you can see Charlie pump faking, trying to get a safety to move a little bit, and just makes a great throw and great catch, and a nice way to get back on the board.
So it's 21-14. The Mustang defense needs to get a stop, and they do. Another play by junior A.J. Page.
This time A.J.'s playing the left defensive end. We tried to move him around a little bit, and last time he beat the running back on protection. This time he beats the left tackle and gets inside and rips through and actually makes another nice sack. But again, he's a tough, long-armed kid that's going to be tough to block in passing situations.
The Mustangs force a short punt by the Huskies, and Southwest just a couple of plays later take advantage and get a 2-play drive, and it's capped by Tondrum tying the game with this touchdown run.
Yeah, very strong run, just a nice burst by Tyler, and you can see Dean and Condon, getting really nice blocks on the perimeter. That's what springs this play. But everyone's doing their job, and when you do that, you got a chance to do something special. And here we get it in the end zone to tie it up right before halftime.
So it's 21-all at halftime. The Mustangs and the Huskies tied up. St. Cloud does score on their first play of the second half with a long strike, but the Mustangs answer back down by a couple of scores. Tondrum plows across for another touchdown.
Right, we get another inside run here, and the nice thing is we were 5 for 5 in the red zone, and that's just good to see, all touchdowns.
Mustang defense, Letzo, Page, and Miller combined for this tackle for loss.
Okay, and you can see here, Lefso and A.J. Page really had really good games, and then you hear Miller finishes it off, but that defensive line did some pretty good things against a good St. Cloud offensive line.
There's Kern dumping it off to Tondrum for a big gain up the middle near midfield.
Here's what I was talking about, just him keeping his legs going, great leg drive, great effort. You can see the offensive lineman getting downfield, getting blocks, and then it's up to the back to make a few guys miss. But again, just you can see the effort by the guys on game day.
And a couple of big completions here on third down, Kern to Cross, and then Kern to Olson.
Yeah, you can see here, this is a tight window, big conversion, but just a great catch. I mean, that's tight coverage, but you're going to have that on third downs. And again, here, another one. Here's a fourth down play. You've got a basic sprint out, and we're able to find a hole in the zone, and Charlie sticks it on. That's not always an easy throw going to your left and sticking it on, especially in a fourth down situation.
Just moments later, Kern finds Kirka for his first career TD.
Will Kirka having great feel for the play. He feels the defender sitting on him. He goes over the top, and he ends up getting a nice touchdown. We're very happy for him.
And there's a pass breakup by Drew McReynolds again.
Yep, we got press coverage, man coverage on third down, and gets his hand in there, and just really good coverage. That's good to see. He had a really nice game for us.
Back on offense, Kern to Adam Olson.
Yep, this is a third down conversion again. Tight windows. You're going to have that on third downs. Is tight man coverage, and Charlie gets outside the pocket. We get good protection, and anytime you can create an extra second for the QB, he has an opportunity to make a play.
There's another one of Condon's, one of his 8 receptions here on the near side.
Nice progression by Charlie. He goes inside out, and you can see the protection. Great protection. He has room to see, he has room to throw, and that's how you convert third downs.
In the last play, Charlie Kern finds Tondrum again out of the backfield.
Okay, another screen play, and again, everyone's getting downfield, getting blocks. All right, we're very, very close to making that thing into a touchdown, And all in all, running 94 plays and with the temperature and everything else, that was just a great effort by all of our guys, and we just something that we can build from as we move forward.
So again, the Mustangs fall to St. Cloud State, a very competitive game, and the Mustangs, very similar to last year's home opener, taking on a very good Minnesota Duluth team, a game that was into the fourth quarter, very competitive, much like this one, and unfortunately the Mustangs not able to win that one or this one, but definitely some positive signs going into this week's game versus MSU Moorhead. Before we look ahead to that game, Coach, there was a lot of newcomers that played in the contest, and we talked about guys that hadn't got a lot of snaps the last few years that got to play, but there were several true freshmen that got a taste of what it is at Division II football against some of the best teams, one of the best teams in the conference, and most of it on the defensive side of the football.
Right. Well, up front, we've got Rakeem Felder, a true freshman from Osseo, that had to play interior defensive line. That's not an easy task to do as a true freshman. Alex Warner got some snaps. That was good for him to get in the mix. Dalen Finley played sparingly, got into the special teams element. It's probably more than you want to have playing, but just the reality of it is they had a great fall camp, and there was a need for them to play this year. And so we also had Jay Schneider on special teams as well. I'm sure I'm missing somebody, but we've got plenty of young guys coming up in the program that are going to be pretty good players when it's all said and done. But there's always going to be that growing curve that you got to go through, and I think that's the same for everybody in this conference. You've got older guys, you got younger guys, and we have a nice mix. It's not just all seniors. We've got a good mix, and we've just got to get them learning as quickly as possible, understanding what's going on. The maturity part will come as far as the physical development, but really we can't really focus on that right now. Our whole goal is just to get them ready mentally to play a ball game.
Yeah, I think what was so impressive was having so many different guys, new guys play on defensive side of the football and offense as well, coming in and really seemed a pretty smooth transition. You look in the offensive line, Brandon Puffer goes down at times, and Nathan Myers, his first game action at center, and it's an important position, and he handled himself very well.
Yeah, he did. Coming in, that's an important position because a lot of those calls are being made by our center, as well as you're going against a good defensive line, and that's not an easy thing to do. But he came in, he was allowed us to go down the field. Yeah, he made plenty of mistakes, but he also did quite a few really, really nice things for us, and those snaps are very valuable for us. Even if he doesn't take another snap for another couple weeks, those are going to really help us as we move forward. And I think the guys responded. The guys that did get an opportunity to get in there for a few snaps, they didn't look like they were out of place, and that was just a nice positive for our football program.
Well, the Mustangs move on now. We get ahead toward this week against Minnesota State Moorhead. Up in Moorhead, it'll be the home opener for the Dragons. They come off a tough loss to Augustana this past Saturday in Sioux Falls, and it's been a couple years since we played the Dragons, Coach. We played them up there a few years ago and had a record-setting day rushing the football for the Mustangs that particular afternoon. But let's talk about the Dragons. They're a team, third-year coach. They're trying to rebuild that program. Very young squad. I believe they start a true freshman at quarterback, and a very young team. But they're going to be hungry to play at home and got something to prove as well. And we saw their progression last year get better throughout the year. And again, they took Augustana, into the fourth quarter, a very competitive game.
Right. They are a very young team, but very dangerous team. You look at last season, their last game of the year, they played St. Cloud State, and they ended up losing by 2 points. And that's a pretty good indication of transitioning into this season. And then playing Augustana, they only lost by 13, and so they're competitive. They're going to fight and they're going to play, and we have the challenge of going on the road, which isn't always easy. And we've got to keep our composure, our focus where it needs to be, and so we've got a lot of work ahead of us. Really, our focus becomes on us more than anything. But they do have a new set of guys that are playing essentially. From the last time we played, we don't have hardly anybody playing from that game, and same thing with them. So it's going to be hard for us to really compare, 2 years ago. But they've got some quality athletes. They've got some guys that can make things happen. They've got a different offense, very similar to what we're doing. So there's going to be a lot of balls being thrown. At least that's what they've shown in the first game, and so it could be a long ball game, is what I'm getting at. It could be a 4-hour marathon, but no, we're looking forward to just improving. That's really our focus. Tackling, eliminating penalties on offense, eliminating drop balls on offense, being more sound on our special teams, getting those guys to understand their assignments. So we have plenty of things that we have to really just look at ourselves more than anything, and then we get the privilege to go up there and play a football game, and that'll be fun. I want to get up there and make sure that we play our best football, and definitely not take them lightly, because they're a dangerous football team.
Well, I mentioned the first time on the road this season. Kind of talk about how that works. Obviously the travel plans, but something you go up on Friday and have meetings and supper or walk through. What kind of give the fans a taste of what it'll be like on Friday when you head up to Moorhead?
Right. Well, we'll typically, for all of our away games, we will actually get a light walkthrough practice before we leave. So we try to get that work done before we get on the bus. So we'll do that on Friday afternoon. We'll get that all knocked out, and then once we're done with that, we'll head towards Moorhead. We'll stop and have dinner. A lot of times we'll have a nice place to eat where those guys can relax and unwind a little bit. Then we'll get to the hotel, and we'll actually have meetings when we get there. So we'll go over special teams. We'll go over some reminders on offense and defense. Get to bed early, and then the next morning we'll actually continue to have some meetings as well as a walkthrough and just kind of those final preparations. So our biggest thing is just staying focused, not turning it into a vacation, so to speak, but more of a business trip, and we're there for one reason, and that's to win a football game, and we just got to make sure our guys are locked in and not get distracted by anything else, because you're just a little bit off routine because you're just so used to doing things a certain way, and so now things are going to be changed up a little bit. What you eat is a little bit different. What time you wake up might be a little bit different. So we just got to try to keep it as normal as possible and just make sure they understand why we're going there, because that's the last thing you want, is for guys to be all unfocused, not where they need to be, and then all of a sudden we have a letdown, and we all know what that's like. We had a game or two last year where we didn't play as well as we should have.
Yeah, well, going to be exciting to get back on the field and try to get that first victory of 2013. The Mustangs and the Dragons kick off at 1 o'clock at Nemzik Field in Moorhead as the Mustangs try to get on the board and make it a 1-1 season after the first couple of weeks. 1 o'clock kickoff from Moorhead, and you can follow all the action, live audio, statistics, video at smsumustangs.com. Thanks to the head coach, Cory Sauter. I'm Kelly Law. Thanks for watching this week's episode of The Cory Sauter Show. Until next time, go Mustangs.